Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp. A lot has been said about both these managers in the last 7 to 8 years. The rivalry that's formed between Manchester City and Liverpool has been one that's caused endless debates over half a decade now. And the greatest debate of them all is simple. Pep or Klopp? Who's your choice? Comment down below who do you think is the better manager of the two, and also leave why. If you do enjoy, smash the like button, 5,000 likes, that'll mean a lot, and also of course subscribe. I think in the last 2 videos we've hit 100,000 views within the first 24 hours, both of them. That's not normal. I'm not used to this, so thank you. I truly cannot thank you guys enough. It does mean a lot. And of course, for any of the prints you see behind me, mazoladesigns.co.uk, my own design company, for any famous moments in your club's history, link down below, use code, let's just say Klopp, for 15% off, as Klopp will be a large part of this video because it is indeed him leaving Liverpool. Let's talk about it.
Looks like low tide.
When we speak of the greatest managers of all time in the modern era, Pep Guardiola is potentially the first name you think of. Other managers such as Jose Mourinho, Sir Alex Ferguson will instantly come to your mind. Jurgen Klopp may not so. And due to that is because of Pep Guardiola. But is that fair? Well, let's look at it. For many people, it's a simple equation. Who's won the most? And in that regard, you can't look past Pep Guardiola with countless trophies to his name. However, for many, it can be more than that in terms of the subjective level of achievement when it comes to resources, when it comes to the players that they were given, improvement of players, and these are things that people always lean more to Klopp's favour. If you want to look at stats, well, let's look at the head-to-head between Klopp and also Pep. And if I was to ask you who came out on top of this, it may surprise you. It is indeed Klopp. Just with 11 wins in Klopp's favour, 8 draws and 10 wins in Guardiola's favour. This also involves their games between Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich. They also represented where they came from. The Premier League becoming almost somewhat of an unofficial European Super League due to all the money and the world's best players and the world's best managers seemingly all coming to the same place. They've always stayed on top. Pep, who was a coach that epitomised Spain's obsession with possession-based football, while Klopp became the poster boy for the German focus of pressing, gegenpress. Not only were these two competing for Liverpool and City, but competing in terms of completely different ideologies of how to play football. This, of course, in recent years have kind of blurred itself a bit as they've kind of learned from each other on how to adapt to their style of play. I cannot deny their impact on English football, and the most obvious is the likes of Pep Guardiola, with multiple players and coaches that's come from him, kind of labelled as a Pep prodigies, the likes of Vincent Kompany at Burnley, Enzo Maresca at Leicester City, Mikel Arteta at Arsenal, and there's many more. I'm sure you can also involve Xavi as well at Barcelona. Some people do not like Pep in terms of his impact on the game because they find it to be very robotic, very systematic, data-driven, and the less spontaneous parts of football seems to be driven out of their style of play. The idea of a player running across the pitch 20-30 meters, banging one from 30 yards out is something that you don't really see as often. The kind of spontaneous moments of magic that's random in football, that is sometimes the most brilliant and most beautiful thing, doesn't happen much in a Pep Guardiola team, where it's all about the percentages, the most likely chance to create an opening, and it's almost pass to death until you get the most likely chance to score. Pep Guardiola's style of play is belief in technical footballers, the obsession of playing out from the back and fielding multiple playmakers together. His style of play is so common that websites like SofaScore has changed their formations to perfectly suit Man City. They make it look like a 3-2-4-1, and that kind of is how it looks like on the pitch, as most of the time they spend so much time in possession. The same probably can't be said for Klopp, or not yet anyway, as there's not enough examples of players or coaches that's come from him that's gone into football and become managers at their own clubs. And also fair to add that the kind of typical gegenpress heavy metal football is no longer really the case that it used to be. And again, it has adapted to become kind of more of a Pep-ish adaptation of his style of play. This, of course, became more obvious when the likes of Roberto Firmino and Sadio Mane has now left the club, and Salah now taking on a completely different role in this Liverpool team. But in favour of Liverpool, the main key difference and the main key argument that Liverpool fans would say about Klopp is the resources that they've been given. Net spend. You've probably heard this countless times for every single argument involving City and Liverpool. Ever since Pep and Klopp has been at their clubs, Pep has spent £627 million net spend. To clarify, net spend is your transfer ins and your transfers out, your income and your expenditure. Pep £627 million and Klopp £254 million. Now that's quite a big gap, and that does lead to the idea that Klopp has done more with the money that he's been given. That's a lot less than what Pep has been able to spend. However, City fans will say, what about net spend per trophy? And it looks a lot more even. When it comes to major trophies, now major depends on how you describe it. Do you count the Club World Cup as a major trophy or a Super Cup? For me, I would count it as a major trophy, as you can only win those competitions by winning the Champions League or Europa League, but predominantly you win the Champions League to get into it, which they did. That means that Klopp's net spend per trophy is 36.28 million. However, Pep has won 14 major trophies, discounting the Community Shield and adding in the Club World Cup and also the Super Cup as well. Double the amount of Klopp, and counting the net spend per trophy, Pep has spent £44.78 million. It is also very, very important to add that City still has 2 major trophies to fight for, whereas Liverpool has got nothing right now. So those honours can still change within the next few weeks. So can you say that Liverpool under Klopp has been punching above their weight in terms of their success to money spent? When you compare how much Liverpool spent compared to, let's say, Manchester United, well, you could say that United are just really bad at doing their job. Jurgen Klopp, as of recording, has got a points per game record of 2.12 points per game. That's over a period of over 330 games, and Pep tops the list in Premier League history, just over 300 games with a points per game record of 2.34. When it comes to the conversations and debates, the same thing always gets said. Liverpool fans say we don't spend as much as City. City fans will say, but you had the world's most expensive goalkeeper and defender at the same time. And then Liverpool fans will say, yeah, but we sold Coutinho for a lot of money that also paid for that. We've all heard it. It's been gone through a million times. And also, in the act of being fair here, we must also address the huge elephant in the room here regarding the looming 115 charges still on Manchester City. Still not found guilty, still not found not guilty. The case may be finally heard and be concluded, hopefully, within the next year. We don't know when. However, until this is finally done, it will always lead to a question of exactly how fair those trophies was won by Pep, as the seasons involved count not only Pep's reign, but also the reign prior to that. Some City fans may not like the fact this has been brought up, however, as a neutral, you have to, and also I see quite a few City fans almost be proud of the charges put against them and lord over them being seen as the bad guys, the villains in football, which, I mean, that is most certainly one way to look at it. So with this case still looming over City's head, it will always play a part in the Pep v Klopp debate. Looking at this from a pure neutral setting here, as I don't support either club here or any other top 6 club with no rivalry involved, Klopp has brought the good times back to Liverpool, which was a challenge which was seen as a poison chalice for many people, something that is also now equated to the Manchester United job, the badge and the expectation weighs on you so heavy that it only will inevitably drag you down. Klopp has brought the good times back and made them dream again, and they did. They achieved that, and for that is something incredible, because remember, when Klopp came through the door, he was seen as the nearly man. People forget this, but Klopp, when he first joined Liverpool, always was nearly there to winning great things. He did already win the Bundesliga with the likes of Dortmund, of course, but he was always seen to do much more than that, however did not get over the line, losing cup finals prior to that as well. People always felt like Klopp in the end would never get it done, never achieve what he's always meant to, and if you really are harsh to him, you could maybe also say that is still the case. From a wider neutral perspective, Klopp has kept the Premier League competitive at a time which it really should not have been. Pep Guardiola is a machine. Manchester City is a machine with all the resources and all of the incredible talents available. And you can argue that without Klopp, Pep would not be as good as what he actually is right now. He may have very well have still won the titles much more comfortably, but that means he would not have had to force his teams to build the extra gears to go on and reach these incredible points tally. But City fans may say two things. Number one, the Centurion season, they got 100 points without any challenge, so that may not be the case. Fair point. And number two, they may also say that if they didn't have as much pressure in the league, then they would have had a lot more time to rest players and be a lot more fresher for the Champions League games, therefore meaning that they may have had more luck in the Champions League if the league was not as competitive. That could be also a fair point too. The 2018-19 title race will never be forgotten. In the same way, the 21-22 also won't, but I think the 18-19 is remembered a lot more because of some really incredible moments. The Vincent Kompany goal. But the key moment of 18-19 was indeed the game at the Etihad, where Man City beat Liverpool 2-1. But the key part was a goal line clearance of John Stones with the most tiniest of margins that not only kept Liverpool from winning the league, however, made them no longer invincible. I did a video on this quite a few months ago, football's greatest what if. If those few millimeters was on the other end, Liverpool scored, it could have very well went on to win that game at the Etihad, or at least draw. The fairest point to add to all this is the margin is so close. And for many, that could be the difference between elite level of success and pure greatness. Maybe that could be the line. Liverpool would have went on to be the invincible double winners. They won the Champions League and also the Premier League in the same season. It is kind of a shame how it's kind of ended with Klopp and his Liverpool team petering out for the end of the season. For many, they foreseen this as the team for Liverpool this season was never really expected to go on a title fight. And City, of course, will not complete the treble this season either, but they do still have an FA Cup to win. It's looking like it's between City and Arsenal for the title race. And as a pure neutral, I would enjoy Arsenal to win, just because I think it'd be better for the entertainment factor of the league to have a new winner. You tell me down below between Klopp and Pep, who do you prefer? Tell me down below, like, subscribe, and I'll see you very soon. Peace out.